Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sherelle. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. If you have been subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate all your love, all your support. Um, so today's today's video is really going to be focusing on, hold on y'all. So today's video is going to be focusing on shame to glory. I'm not sure if you all see my last video that I put out. Basically, I am talking about how I've been searching and searching and searching. I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. Anyway, I've been searching all over for something that has been missing within, and what I have found out and what God has revealed to me and what he has been revealing to me for the past probably 10, 15 years is that what I'm looking for is within. It is in him. He is the one that is putting everything that I feel like I haven't received or that I have lacked within. Shame to glory. So I'm in a season of my life right now. I'm 38 years old where my past has brought up a lot of shame for me. My past has caused me to create, my past has caused me to make decisions in my life that wasn't beneficial for myself, for my family. And I want to start by getting into that. This is really to help myself and to help those out there that can identify with what I'm going to share. This, for a while I have been giving up what I knew for what I thought I wanted. And what I thought I wanted was weed, alcohol, sex, partying. And every time I would do those things, there wasn't a level of fulfillment that I was looking for. It fulfilled a little bit. It made me feel happy in the moment. But I always would leave feeling like, okay, something's missing. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. If you guys don't know, which you probably don't know, I was in a ministry for about 12 years, gave my life to Christ at an early age. And when I say an early age, I would say like around 23 years old. Prior to that, I grew up in the church partially with my mom and my sister. And my life was not easy. I went through a lot. I went through so much in my childhood, from rape, from being molested, from being tortured physically by my mother, by the hands of my mom, my sister, and other adults that I felt like should have kept me safe. So at a young age, my mother used to go to church, and I remember always wanting to be a part of the ministry, always, every time I went to church, feeling like that's where I belonged, feeling like what I was missing was there, feeling like that was my savior, feeling like that was my peace, that was my safety net. And in fact, it really was. So as I went along my childhood, into my teenage years, I carried that. I always would pray. I always would ask God for forgiveness. I would always thank him. And at an early age, I had a relationship with God, not one that was super deep, but I knew that he was real. I knew that he would keep me. And as a little girl, I used to pray all the time, God, please take me away from my family. With dealing with heavy trauma as a little girl, it was hard. I didn't know who I was. I always searched. I was always looking somewhere. I was always looking for some sort of, I wanted people to accept me for who I was. And I didn't even know who I was. All I knew was that that little girl was used and abused, and I always felt like that little girl. I always felt like, whoa, it's me. I always felt like that there is nothing in my life that I could possibly get right. There is, what's wrong with me? Why me? Why did the things that happened to me as a little girl happen to me? Why was it my sister that molested me? Why was it my mom that molested me? Why? So I grew up with these questions. I grew up with wondering why I didn't know who my dad was, wondering, you know, why I didn't know my biological family on my mom's side, even though she had shared with me some of the traumatic experiences she went through with her family. Same thing, generational curses, sex, molestation, drugs, physical abuse, mental abuse. She had went through a lot of that with her own family, with her siblings, with her grandmother, with her own mother. And with that being said, she always shared with me why we weren't around why we weren't around my family. As I was growing up, I always looked to fit in different places. I would do things. I began to have sex because I thought that my body was the way to show that I love you. Learned that at a very young age. From as long as I can remember, I was being molested by my sister. So I found out at a young age that my body is the way that I show love. My body is the way that I show somebody that I care about them. You see my body? Go on and touch me. That's how I'm showing you. I'm giving you my body. I'm showing you that I love you. So in all my relationships, I thought that's what I had to do, was give my body for sex. Even though people would tell me all the time that necessarily wasn't the way, like celibacy is the way. Like when I got into the ministry, I learned that, this is my temple, and to not defile it, right? To love on it, to not just allow anybody in it or on it. And my temple is for God. So I learned that, but I didn't fully understand the meaning. So while I was in church, always loved God. Again, though, I was looking for something. And my pastor was a woman. So at the time, I was looking for a mother figure, right? Because I grew up, I never had that. Never had a true mother figure, or someone that I could look up to, that had my back, that supported me in the way that I felt like I should have been supported. Instead, it was a lot of, jealousy, manipulation. And again, you all, I'm sharing this because I want every person out there that has gone through a similar experience to understand that they are not alone, and that there is a lot of shame that comes with being abused. There's a lot of shame because you want to know why. Why did it happen to you? What about you could you have changed for that not to happen? But I had to realize that it was nothing that I could have done. I was a kid. You're a child. You're innocent. There were adults in my life that were supposed to protect me, and they didn't do that. They failed me on that end. And again, I don't make excuses for anyone. And I also know that sometimes when you're dealt a hand, you end up dealing that hand to someone else. I'm grateful that I was able to break that generational curse somewhat, so that way my boys are able to break it even more, right? So that's the goal. So, I getting in the ministry, I was on fire for God. I had gotten into a car accident, and it was kind of like my aha moment. That's how I woke up. I woke up because my son was in the car at the time. He was about 3 years old. And I was, I had my neck had an injury. I had a neck injury. And my son, nothing was wrong with him. Nothing. Like, it was almost like it wasn't almost. God wrapped his loving arms around him and shielded him, because it was a truck that hit us on the passenger side. I was on the passenger side and he was sitting behind me. So I did a lot of crying and crying out to God. And around that time, I ended up going to church with my cousin. The ministry that I was in for 12 years, I ended up going to church there. And then I decided to become a member. And I remember at that time, I did a lot of crying because I realized that what had happened to me at 12 years old when I was molested by my mother. I was sleeping and I woke up and she was molesting me. And her excuse was, I wanted to see if you was having sex. And at that time, I really wanted to believe that because my entire life, I was molested by people that I trusted. I was molested by the adults in my life. So I was hoping that, she actually was trying to see if I was having sex. Like I wanted to believe her so bad. One, right, to rationalize that, because no person, human being in this world would ever want their mother or their father or their parent to do that to them. So I had to acknowledge that it happened. I was actually like in a place where I almost ended up in a mental institution because I just went to the left. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I mean, I cried so much to the point where all I could do was moan. So I had to share the facts. I had to acknowledge the facts. And the facts was, it was in the middle of the night. And I remember the clock. I remember looking at the clock and seeing what time it was. It was around 1 something, 2 in the morning. She was fully unclothed. She had no clothes on. And it was very traumatic for me. It was very traumatic. So 24 years old, crying in this place where just coming out of denial, I was able to come out of denial and actually try to understand what happened to me. With that being said, I went on to having these relationships with men, you know, giving my body to these men, not really allowing them to court me, not knowing my true self-worth, right? Not knowing that I'm worth more than sex because I thought that's all that I was worth was sex. And I also remember, in my younger years being asked to, do sexual things and me being afraid to say no because I wanted them to like me. I wanted to people please. And the people pleasing came from a place of wanting to be accepted. So I did things sexually because I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to accept me. And I thought that was the way. As I got older, I still use sex as a way to escape. I use sex as a way to show love and hoping that that person, they're going to give me love. That's the way they're going to show me I feel good after sex. I'm going to, that's it. He's going to be mine. And knowing that it takes more than that, and sex comes with a lot of soul ties. And with those soul ties becomes a lot of spirits that can attach to my soul, and battling and confusion and a whole bunch of other things that come with it. So I was in the ministry. I went celibate for 2 years. I really felt like I found a community that I actually belonged to. Loved my pastor, was looking up to her, was looking up to everybody in the ministry. Again, people pleasing though, doing the things that I thought they wanted me to do, doing the things to make them happy. In actuality, the only person I need to make happy is God. He's the only one. And I know that he has put, I know that I have a calling over my life, period, point blank. I know that God has given me a platform, or he has given me a gift, not even a platform. I know God has given me a gift and he wants me to fulfill that gift. And in order for me to fulfill that gift, I have to fully surrender to him so he can do it the right way. And I'm not being taken advantage of, or it's not in my flesh that I'm doing this, that it's what he wants me to do. Knowing that I had that gift at a young age, I was on fire for God. I've always been on fire for God. I've always known that God has been right beside my side. There's not nothing in this world that could tell me that God has not been with me. I lost my sister to drugs. I lost my mama to drugs. And I have another sibling, another sister who's out there on the streets right now. And she's addicted to drugs. I'm grateful to God that I'm able to see when, when I'm able to see. I'm grateful to God that He's able to show me who I am, who He is in me. I'm really grateful for that. I want you all to know that you are not alone, that to learn how to value yourself and that you are worth more than your body. I'm going to say that I am tired of running from the things that I've gone through. I'm tired of being ashamed to talk about what I went through. I remember I got married to this man that I didn't even know because I thought like, oh my God, if I marry him, because, God says marry, and be equally yoked. And we were definitely not equally yoked. Nothing to say bad about him. We were just not on the same page. And I thought marrying this man was going to give me what I was missing. And I learned very quickly that that was not the case. That was not the case. I learned a lot of valuable lessons throughout my 38 years living on this earth. And I really want to say that I learned a lot of lessons the last 20 years with my life and all the things that I have gone through. Let's see. So you all, I gave up what I knew because I gave up what I knew for what I thought I wanted. I gave up what I knew for what I thought I wanted. So I know that being in the church, I remember all of the older heads at the time because I was in my, mid-20s, young, thought I was older, didn't really know too much. I knew about God, but I didn't know, no. You know what I'm saying? And when they would say to me, listen, if you leave, it's going to take you even 10 times more to come back, that those demons are going to be on you even more. When you leave, if you leave this church, they are going to be on you tenfold. It's going to be double than when I first went in. And God only knows that is true. I have battled for 4 years, almost 5 years to come back to God because I got hurt in the ministry. Because the person that I was making my God, which was my pastor, hurt me. And I felt like, okay, she lied to me, or she manipulated me, or, she did these things to me, and I'm all set. And then I went on this tangent like, well, I don't know if God's real. And I don't, I started smoking again. I started drinking again. And it's like, wait a minute. God ain't got nothing to do with that. I learned that everybody is human. That woman is human. Yes, she's a pastor, but she's human and she makes mistakes too. And she's flawed like the rest of us. But because I put her on such a high pedestal and wanted to be a part of this community so bad and went right along with what everyone else was saying, that I turned my back on God for 4 years. For 4 years. Almost 5 years. I was a double-minded person, flip-flopping, turned to alcohol, was drinking heavy, right? Because I was trying to fill a void. And the one thing I could say is when you are a child of God, it don't matter if I'm in sin, it don't matter where I'm at. If I lay my bed in hell, thou was there. If I lay my bed in heaven, thou was there. Don't get me to quoting scriptures because I'm not 100% there with quoting scriptures. But I do know that regardless of where I'm at in my life, God is there. God is constantly talking to me. He's constantly speaking to me. I could feel his spirit. I know when things that I'm doing is not right. I know that because I get convicted. So with me leaving the church and thinking, oh, I'm going to do it my own way now, I'm all set. Because I was angry. I was hurt. And I left 4 years. It's taken me almost 5 years to get back to where I know I need to be. In a place where I know God has called me. He has given me the power to share a word with people, to share my testimony, to touch lives, and for me to build a community with those that he has me to build a community with. It's not on me to decide. It's not on me to figure it out. It's not on me. Yes, he's going to put it on in me. He's going to tell me to put one foot in front of the other, but he's also going to lead me because that's what I want. Because I know I'm nothing by myself. I know that I'm nothing when I'm trying to do it by myself because I'm confused. It causes confusion. It causes confusion, a state of confusion. I asked God to move down to North Carolina. He told me, yes, go ahead. I moved down here. My friend that was down here, there was a bunch of confusion with that. And God has literally pulled me away and now has set me aside for this very purpose right here so I can get back to what it is that he has called me to do. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have time to waste. I'm continuing to search and search and search. And it's like, God, I already know what you told me to do. So I need to be obedient and I need to do it. I'm just tired. It's exhausting trying to find the thing that you're looking for. It's exhausting when I already know what it is. I'm running from it. No more running, y'all. I'm not running no more. Also, too, learning how to forgive myself. Like, I know that it's been 4 years. I left the church. Not even the church. I'm going to say I backed away from God. God has never left me. I have never left him, but he is distant from me. So I'm getting to a place where I can forgive myself for that, where I'm not going to tear myself up. Because tearing myself up looks like having sex, smoking, drinking, partying. That's tearing myself up, and I'm very clear on that. I'm no longer, I can't worry about what people think. I can't worry about how they're going to view me. You know, I was just out here drinking last week, or I was just out here smoking 2 weeks ago. Well, I really don't smoke like that, but I was just out here drinking, you know, a month ago. How is people going to perceive that? How are they going to look at me? Are they going to call me fake? Are they going to call me a phony? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, I want God to say, well done. I want him to say, well done. So that's where it's at for me. That's it. Nothing else matters but what God has to say. That's all that matters. You all, my goal really this month, since it's the month of Thanksgiving, I am going to try my hardest to get a video out to you all at least every other day, or I'll say twice a week. That's what I'm going to shoot for, because I think every other day is a lot. Twice a week, just chit-chatting, talking about the power of God, reading my word. I do want to read the scripture to you guys. One of the women put it in the chat in my last video. I thank God for her. It is Isaiah 61:7. My last video, it was about me being being shameful, having shame. And she left this on my comments, and it says, "For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them." Amen. So for my shame, I shall have double in the name of Jesus. And for confusion, they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. And this is all I'm looking for, is everlasting joy. Regardless of what the situation is in my life, I just want to be at peace, and I want to have joy. And joy can look different. It's not always going to look like being happy. And I'm fully aware of that. I am grateful for you all for tuning in. Again, I am saying to you all that I'm going to try to get a video out to you all at least once a week, twice a week. I said twice a week, but I'm going to shoot definitely for once. And I know like they do like the Vlogmas, where in December, a lot of YouTubers will upload a video daily. I am going to try to upload a video in November daily. I know I just said once a week, twice a week. Now I'm saying daily. Like, which one is it? That's confusion. I'm going to pray about it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to ask God to lead me, and I'm going to leave it at that. Until next time, you all, later.